So welcome to circuit training. Today you will need a pair of weights, medium, and a mat, maybe a towel and a water bottle too that you can sip from throughout the workout. So today for our circuit training class, we're going to be doing intervals of 30 seconds work, 15 seconds rest. We're also going to be doing a new kind of combination where we do something with body weight followed by a weighted movement that's similar or working the same muscles. So it'll feel a little bit different than maybe what we're used to, but it'll be a good way to challenge ourselves and mix it up. So let's go ahead and get started with the warm-up. All right. And for the warm-up, we're going to reach opposite arm, opposite leg, and reach up and back. So I'm kicking the heel back. Opposite arms extended to help me stay balanced. I'm grabbing the top of my foot, but if you can't quite grab your foot, that's okay. You can just tap and release. This movement's going to stretch out our quadriceps, our lats, and our upper back. And just prime our bodies for the workout today. Good, so we're gonna take a quick break. So for the warm up during the break, if you want to tap the feet or march a little bit, you can do so just to kind of get the blood flowing. All right, the next one, we're gonna step out with the heel, plant the heel and sweep down. We're going to alternate sides. So this is going to stretch out our hamstrings and our low back and our calves in a more active, dynamic way. So before you begin a workout, you always want to start with active stretches rather than static stretches. This will help prime the muscles for movement. All right, that's our little break. So you can step it out or march it out for a few seconds here. This next movement, we're going to work on our shoulder mobility. So we're going to bring our arms up to a 90-degree angle and bring it to the front. And if you want to add a step to this, you can. It's very jazzercise-esque. So if you want to, you can step side to side, squeezing the elbows together, bringing them back out to your side, 90-degree angle. Good, little break, you can march or step. The next one, we're going to stretch out our obliques here in our sides and our core muscles, because as you know, we work our core quite a bit. So we're going to reach up and over, and reach up and over. So I'm actually lifting all the way up to the tippy toe of the side of the arm I'm reaching on. Keep up and over the head. Really nice deep stretch throughout the upper body and core. Shifting my weight side to side. Pulling that scapula back. Good. My bicep was close to my ear. So that's round one of the warm-up. We're going to do everything again once more before we get started. So this time you know the motions. Maybe you can do a few additional reps or go a little bit deeper in your stretch. So we have that opposite arm, opposite leg. So try to keep the knees close together here. Working on our balance right off the bat. Stretching out our quadriceps and our lats and our shoulders. Looking good. All right, you can step it out, get some blood flowing. The better the warm-up, the better the workout, the easier it will feel. We're going to go into heel sweeps. So we're going to plant that heel and sweep through in front of us. You pick your depth, stretching out the back of the body, especially if we just woke up or we've been sitting down. A deep stretch throughout the back of our legs into our lower back. more. All right. Then for march, we have our 90-degree elbow in and out to really stretch our upper body muscles. And you can add a step to it once you get the arms going. So 90 degrees, in and out. And then if you want, you can add that step. Really squeezing the shoulder blades back together. Keeping the elbows at a 90-degree angle. Try not to let them go lower. Try to keep them up. Looking good. All right, one more. So for those of you that just joined us, we're going to do 30 seconds work, 15 seconds rest. And today we're going to be doing body weight movement followed by a weighted movement, working the same muscle group. All right, so last warm-up move. Deep stretch coming up onto the tippy toe of the arm, same side of the arm that's stretching up and over. Crescent moon shape up and over the head. Nice big stretch. We'll have a pair of medium weights handy. Go ahead and grab a drink of water. We're going to get started with our main set. The first movement is actually body weight. So we'll be moving back and forth between our weights quite a bit today, body weight to weighted. So for our first movement, we're just going to work on our body weight squat. So without the weight, we can really focus on our depth, our range of motion, pushing the knees out, sitting back in the heels, activating those glutes. So for the body weight squat, we can move fairly quickly, challenging our range of motion. Okay, so now we're going to add weights. So grab your dumbbells. And yes, we're going back to the squat. So for here, I'm going to have you bring your dumbbells up to shoulder height. Deep breath. And now we have a weighted squat. So maybe we're not moving quite as quickly, but we know what the movement feels like. We're sitting down and back in the heels. Knees pressed out, not collapsing in. Full range of motion. Few more. Great job. So set those weights to the side. This next one is called a plank walkout. So you can bend your knees and you're going to walk out on the hands to a plank position. Then walk back up and extend over. Walk out on the hands to a plank. Walk back, up and over. So this is working our core and our arms. A lot of pectoral muscles as well, working our chest. All right, so now that we've warmed up our chest, from here we're going to grab our weights. We're going into a bridge, which is lying on our back, hips up. So pressing through the heels, hips up. And we're going to do a straight up chest press. Then widen our arms and wrap around the tree trunk for a pec fly. So straight up chest press. Bring arms out and around. Wider pec fly. Arms straight up. And if that's complex, you can just stick with one or the other. You can just stick with a chest press, or you can stick with the pec fly. Try to keep the weight in your heels. All right, so set those weights down. Bonus sit up here. We're going to come up to our feet. Nice and easy. Whenever we come up from the ground, be mindful of your breath. So feet together here, we're going to lunge or step back with an optional knee lift. So lunge or step back, and then lift that knee to the front. If the lunge is too intense, you can simply step back and try to integrate that knee lift for the core and balance. All right, so we're going to grab our weights. We're going to be working on that reverse lunge with the weights, but we're going to do 2 each side. So twice on one side, and then twice on the other. So that's our go. So remember, you can pick the depth of the lunge or step, the weighted double each side. Balance that glass of water on your head. Nice tall posture. Very good. All right, weights to the side. This next one, we're going to have a wide stance, knees soft, which means knees bent, ready position. And we're going to be doing uppercuts. So punching up and across the body, the bent elbow, rotating from the core, keeping our core strong. So here, since it's just body weight, we can add some power, we can add some speed. Rotating from our midsection. Good. Pick up your weights. And quick note on picking up your weights, try to squat down, pick them up if they're on the floor rather than lean forward. So from here, we're going to do what's called a Popeye curl. So we're going to curl across the body, very similar to what we just did, but with less speed, less momentum. Popeye curl, up and across, elbows bent, working our biceps and our shoulder, and chest as well. Our core is stabilizing, so my knees are slightly bent, hips tucked under. Great job. Weights to the side. We're going to come down on our bellies on the mats, arms extended, legs out. It's a Superman, so tucking the chin, arms and legs lift all together, working our low back. So it's a very small movement. If it's too hard to lift all 4 limbs, you can choose just the legs or just the arms. Working that Superman. Very good. Grab your weights on the way back up. Now that our back is primed, we're going to bend the knees, hinge at the hips, underhand row to neutral row. So we're hinging at the hips, underhand row, flip the wrists, fingertips close to the sides. We're just alternating the two. So the only thing moving are my wrists, and then of course my elbows pulling up and back. Think of pulling with the elbow rather than the hand. Working against gravity here. Gaze is straight ahead, right? Weights out of the way. Back to some leg work. So we're gonna start with both feet close together. Hands behind the head, and we're going to lunge to one side, then the other. So you can keep both legs bent, or you can try to straighten out that leg that's supporting. For some people, straightening out that leg is a little too much, so you can bend both in a side-to-side squat. For me, it takes a few reps to get warmed up to get there. Try to keep that posture. Good, let's grab our weights. So yes, we're going to be replicating that movement. Feet together. weights at the shoulder level. So lunging together. And if that straight leg is tough for you, you can do that double squat as well. So you have options here. Either both legs bent or one at a time. Sitting down and back in the heel with a miniature break at the top. All right, weights out of the way. Here we have a power jack. So to keep it low impact, you can go one side at a time, or if you're a high impactor, you can go for the full jumping jack. So you pick your level here. Arms and legs come out together. Knees are slightly bent, soft landing on the walls of the feet. Now our heart rates are up. Pick up those weights. So from here, we're going to do a neutral grip. Feet about shoulder width apart. Neutral grip means fingertips face the ears. So we're at a 90-degree angle, like we practiced in warm-up. And we're doing an alternating press. So one arm at a time. Keeping the fingertips facing our ears, that's a little bit easier on the shoulder. And then try not to let the arms sink low. Try to keep the tension in the shoulders by maintaining that 90 degrees. Whew. Good work, you guys. We have a couple more, then we'll take a long break, or a longer break. All right, if you were here yesterday, these will look very familiar. We're going to hinge at the hips to reach in a deadlift position and then reach up. Or you can add a hop if you're a high impact person. So hinging at the hips, reaching up, or adding the hop. So I'll turn sideways so you can see my knees are bent. I'm hinging, so this is the one exercise where I'm going to say it's okay to lean forward and reach. You should feel it in your hamstrings more than your lower back. So now we're going to do a deadlift with the weights. So pick up both weights. So feet a little bit wider than shoulder width, knees bent. Weights are going to be in front of us. And we're going to use our hamstrings, those muscles in the back of our legs, to hinge our hips. And we're reaching in front of us. So if you don't touch the floor, that's okay. Everybody's range is going to be different. I want you to reach until you feel a deep stretch in your hamstrings. If your back is hurting, bend your knees more. Good work. Let's take that longer break. Make sure we get some water. Check in on everybody. We have a good group today. Nice big Friday group. Today's a little different, integrating the body weight with the weighted movement. Okay. Hopefully you grabbed a drink. We want to keep going so our heart rate stays elevated, so our muscles stay warm. So we're going to go back to that body weight squat, like we did in the very beginning. So again, body weight, we can really work our range of motion. So ready position, that's our go. So my arms come forward to help counterbalance here. Weight is shifted back in the heels. And you could go for a little speed if you're feeling good. Otherwise, just pace yourself. Working our range of motion. All right, grab those weights. This time we're going to change the weight distribution somewhat. So instead of holding the weight at our shoulders, we're going to widen the feet Bring the hands together in front. And this is a sumo squat. So for the sumo squat, you really have to focus on not leaning forward too much, keeping the weight back in the heels. You'll feel this one work your inner thighs a little bit more. So we're still squatting, but as you can see and feel, changing where we hold the weight changes the exercise. Keep strong. Good, weights out of the way. We have our plank walkout. So feet shoulder width apart, you can use the knees to bend. We're gonna go for the ground, walk out to a plank, walk back up, reach up, and repeat. If the plank walkout is too much, you can simply hold a plank on the forearms. If this hurts your wrists or your shoulders, holding a static plank, elbows on the ground, is also very effective. We're building our core, our chest. Okay, we're gonna grab our weights and come into the bridge. That's knees bent, hips up. If the hips up's too challenging, you can do hips down, and we're gonna do a straightforward chest press. Then bring the arms out and around for a pec fly. That's our go. Bridge position, press, and then you're welcome to widen it out for the pec fly. Alternating the two, or just sticking with one. Try to press those hips high. Don't let them sink down. That will give you a little lift for your upper body movement as well. Great job. Set those weights to the side. Bonus sit up, or you can roll over to your side and press up. We're going to work our balance with our reverse lunge knee lift. So you can always just do a step here versus a lunge. So back, we're going to try to add that knee lift for the core to challenge our balance. Anytime we challenge the balance, we're working our abdominals. And eventually we'll get to a place where we can do this with the weight. Keep that head high. Use your arms because they're free of the weight. All right, pick up your dumbbells. We're going to do doubles again. So same movement, we're going to take out the knee lift, and we're going to do 2 reps per side before switching. So the hands are just holding the weight, nothing fancy with the arms. And then the leg is stepping or lunging twice. Keep that knee behind the toe. If you're lunging, try to go for a good range of motion. Try to make both legs equal. So work each side equally as hard. We all have a side that's lagging a little bit. Good work. Weights to the side. We're going to get into that ready position. Feet apart, knees soft. We have our uppercuts. So we can go for a little bit of power and speed here. Rotating from the core. Strong abs. Up and across, elbow stays bent. Feel your core stabilizing you, resisting that whole twist. Great job. You feel your heart rate up. A little bit of cardio there. Grab your weights. Remember, don't bend to grab your weights, squat. You're getting a lot of bonus squats today. And then we have our Popeye curls. So 1 arm at a time, up and across. Total upper body here, biceps, chest, shoulder. Show off your hard work here, show off your flex. There you go. You guys look super strong here, super tough. These These are our glamour muscles, but they're also the muscles that are going to help us carry all of our groceries in one trip. All right, we're going to go on to our tummies on the ground, arms out, legs out. For Superman or Superwoman, it's a very small lift. All four limbs, tuck your chin, protect your spine. Very good, press up. You need your dumbbells, we have rows. So we're gonna set up, feet about hip width, knees bent. We're gonna hinge, so it's a neutral row, and then an underhand row. So my wrists flip at the bottom, and I'm pulling back with my elbow. So visualize your arms as a hook. So you're initiating the movement behind you in the scapula. I'm just going to keep us strong and injury-free. Wonderful job. Weights to the side. So we have our lateral squat. So remember, you can try to keep that rounded leg straight, or you can just do that double squat side to side. I know with my left side, I have a hard time keeping the leg straight. So you do what feels attainable here. Just make sure you're sitting back in the heel or heels if you're doing the double squat. Looking good. Wonderful. You know what's next. Grab the weights. So just like with the squat, this time we're going to change where we distribute the weight. So instead of having the weights up here, we're going to keep them at the legs, which is a little cumbersome the first few reps to get it out of the way. So you kind of have to lunge and then bring the weight in, but you'll feel it more in your inner thighs, and it totally changes the exercise. If that's too complicated, feel free to bring the weight back up to your shoulders. Okay, we have our jack. So remember, for keeping it low impact, one side at a time. If you really want to rev it up, we have our full jumping jack. Landing softly on the balls of our feet. Chin down. Try not to let that head crane back. Gaze straight ahead. Be light and soft. This one always feels a bit longer. Great work. Weights. We're going to do our alternating neutral grip press. Feet a little bit apart, knees bent. Tuck the hips, fingertips face the ears. Try to maintain that 90-degree angle in the elbows. Yes, it makes it harder because you're holding that tension in the resting arm the whole time. Deep breath. You got it. Great job. Couple more, and we'll take a good break. So we have our deadlift hinge, knees bent, and arms up. Optional hop. So we practiced this one yesterday. Hinge and hop, hinge, or just reach. You can certainly take out the hop. And remember, you're using your hamstrings to reach. So your hamstrings, those big muscles, in the back of your knee, up to your glutes. Those are what's working here. Right, let's do those weighted deadlifts. These movements are great at revving up your metabolism, working these big muscle groups. So bending the knees, reaching to your level, using those muscles in the back of the legs and the butt to pull up. So arms aren't pulling, arms are just holding the weight. All right, we definitely earned a good water break here. Set your weights down. Let's grab some water. Whew, we're doing really good on time, even though we've worked out everything, right? So we're feeling it. So let's take on another round. If you're straining with the weight, remember that you can always do these movements completely body weight. You can swap out heavier weights for lighter weights. You can even use water bottles that are halfway filled up. So pick your level here. You want to feel challenged but not strained to the point that your muscles are hurting or anything sharp or popping going on. Let's take a few deep belly breaths before we get back into our squat. So you should feel your tummy fill up with air versus your chest. Good work. Let's get back in that body weight squat position. Feet apart, you can angle the toes slightly out as well. Arms come forward. So now we're a pro at these moves. We're either hanging on, trying to stay with it, or we can really go harder. So we know the movement. Our bodies are warm. Our neuromuscular connections are firing. Hopefully some endorphins are flowing. Wonderful. Pick up the weights. So we're going to do that shoulder height squat. So same stance, feet apart, toes out. Bring the weights up to the shoulder. Sit down and back in the heels. Working your personal range of motion. Knees behind the toes. All right. Weights down. We have our plank walkout, or if that's hard on the wrists, you can hold a plank on the forearms. You can bend the knees to do this. You don't have to do it straight-legged unless you want to. So walking out, plank, walking back up on our hands, and stretch. If you're feeling good, you can go for a little speed and run on your hands. Reach up tall. Whew, all right. We have our bridge, pec fly, chest press. We can alternate the two, or we can just stick with one. Bridge means knees bent, hips up. That's our go. Press those hips up, nice and tall. Breathe here. Try not to hold your breath. All right. Bonus sit-up, or you can press up on your side. We're going to work that reverse lunge with a knee lift. So make sure you have some room behind you. Step or lunge. Use your arms to help balance you. It's like you're sprinting in slow motion with the arms. And then step or lunge back. Great, stay with it. Okay, time for the weights. I should have cheated and brought a chair to set my weights in. All right, so feet together. We're going to do double reps per side. So 2 and 2. Doesn't matter what side you start on. Almost there. Keep it going. Whew. Okay. Let's work on our uppercut. So for our uppercuts, we have that ready position, that athletic stance, feet wide, knees bent, and then up and across, controlling that rotation with our core. Everyone's looking fierce in their camera. Visualize that core controlling the movement. More seconds, let's go for it. Awesome. Grab your weight. We have our Popeye curls. Remember, still keeping a little bend in our knees, tucking the hips under. Up and across. Keeping our focus. Make every rep as good as the last. There we go. And done. We're going to go into our bellies. Arms out, legs out. We have Superman / Superwoman. Lifting all 4 limbs, or just legs or just arms. That feels better. Tuck the chin. And go. You can exhale on the way down. More than halfway. Great work. Pressing up. Grab our dumbbells for the row. So feet close, hinge at the hips, neutral grip, underhand grip, pulling with those hooks, aka our elbows. Gaze is ahead of you on the floor. Once you get the form down, great work. Weights out of the way. We have our side-to-side squats. So remember, these are the tricky ones where you can either double or you can work on keeping that standing leg straight. Just working the body weight for now. Sitting back in the heel or heel depending on which version you choose. Great, I see everyone's heads bobbing back and forth. Whew. Okay, let's grab the weight. We'll go back to the shoulder height version to get the weights out of the way. Don't have to worry about coordinating. So weights up. Same thing you just did, but now you have the load. So maybe moving a little bit more slowly, more deliberately. Awesome work. We're getting closer to the end of this main set. We have our jacks. So remember, you can one side at a time, or we can go for a full jumping jack. Land light on the balls of your feet. Trying to keep, even if we're doing the full jack, trying to keep our impact minimal. Good job. Now we get to work our shoulder press. Heart rates are up. Knees slightly bent. 90-degree angle. So even the resting arm is holding the tension. Fingertips curled around the weight, facing your ears. Even though we're working, take this time to breathe. Deep breath. You got it. Gaze is straight ahead. Try not to tilt your head back. And relax. Just a couple more, and then we have a big cool down. And not too bad. Deadlift, hop, or reach. Hinge the hips. Reach toward the floor. And then extend at top with your optional hop. Make the hamstrings work, not the low back. Very well done. Let's end our last weighted movement, the deadlift. So we know the movement. No hop, no reach. Arms are totally relaxed. You're just there to hold the weight. Working our hip hinge. Working our hamstrings. Reaching to our depth. Pulling back. Keep it going. All right, let's get our water. So that is the conclusion of our main set. But since we have a little time, I want to work on a full cool down and some mobility exercises. All right, good job. Whenever we do these full body, rapid pace workouts, we can get a lot done in a small amount of time. So we don't need a full hour necessarily to get a full body workout. Okay, so let's start back where we started with the same warm up, and then we'll add on. So for our first exercise, it was that opposite arm, opposite leg stretch. So the warm up itself, Really works our core. Now it's our cool down. But before we go into some static stretching, I want us to keep moving to facilitate some blood flow and recovery to our soft tissue. And not abruptly stop our heart rate or lower our heart rate too quickly. All right? And remember, you can step or tap it out here or march if you want to, or you can just completely rest. Think about breathing deep. Next one, we're going to plant the heel and sweep. You'll probably notice you can sweep a lot lower in the cool down than you did in the warm up because we're so warm. It's a big difference I've noticed, especially when you work out in the morning. Nice. And reach. Wonderful. So now we have those 90-degree elbow open close. Again, pay attention if you feel like you can stretch a little bit deeper, a little bit more versus the warm up. Really stretching back. And of course, you can add that step if you want to. I feel like I can move a full inch further back in this stretch. Looking good. Great job. And then we're back to that overhead bend. Stretching so far, reaching so far, we're coming up on our tippy toe. Get ready. There we go. Nice, big reach. Really go for it. All right, so then we're gonna add a few new ones in. Keep our cool down going. So we worked our hip circles yesterday. We're going to do that again today. Don't be shy about really sticking your hips out and back. You can do hands on the hips if you want. Really sit back in those circles. Almost like that deadlift motion, but making a full circle. This is great for hip mobility, keeping those joints healthy. Rest, and then the next one will go the opposite direction. If you were already alternating, you can just alternate again, back and forth. Otherwise, we'll hit the opposite direction the whole time. All right, here we go. Pay attention if one side feels a little bit more tight than the other. You can do some additional stretching with that. So throughout the rest of today, make sure you hydrate. Take in some electrolytes if you need them. It's been really hot out. All right, the next one, we're going to come down to our mats. I want to make sure you have a little padding for this one. What we're going to do is we're in a kneeling position, but we're going to try to bring that front leg, one leg, it doesn't matter which, up and out to the front. And then lift. And then we're going to step back with the knee, bring that other leg up and out, and lift. So hopefully you can see me in the frame and back on the knee. Foot steps out, same side arm lift, and externally rotate. So just take your time here. All right, and from here, we're going to press back into a child's pose. So we'll turn this way so you can see So we're on our knees, and we sit back on our heels and reach forward. Here we're pressing back up. We're going to stand back up, and we're just going to end with some static stretching for the upper body. So bringing the arm up and across. You might feel a little dizzy here, so just take some deep breaths. And then relax and switch sides. So today at 10, we do have a 30-minute Q&A. So I field questions during the week, all things nutrition, fitness, supplements, lifestyle. And then we do a brief Q&A on Fridays. And the last one, arms behind the back. So definitely feel free to tune into that. And then Monday morning, you can start off your week strong with the Nisa's Sit Strong class at 10. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording here. If you guys have any questions, let me know.